qué lo están haciendo. Así que, sin más que decir y agradecer, Juan, Yannick, para mí es un placer tenerlos aquí y a todo el equipo de Exsis, ¿sí? Tenerlos aquí trabajando y brindando este contenido que para mí es invaluable de lo profundo e increíble que es. Así que los dejo con todo nuestro público. Yo voy a ir sumando a la gente que vaya ingresando, así que quédense tranquilos con eso. Recuerden a todos los presentes, el webinar va a ser netamente en inglés, como ya habíamos avisado en la invitación, ¿sí? Así que los dejo con ellos y yo voy a estar acá, obviamente, para apoyar y seguir todo el webinar, que realmente va a ser increíble. También está en YouTube, después lo van a poder ver íntegro también en YouTube, para que toda la información que Yannick y Juan nos brinden va a quedar grabada y va a quedar registrada para que todos puedan usarla y potenciarla mucho más de lo que ya lo están haciendo ellos. Así que muchas gracias, soy un agradecido de estar hoy con ustedes y un agradecido de que Insurtech y Exsis estén haciendo cosas en conjunto. Así que muchas gracias y doy la palabra a Juan y a Yannick para que comiencen.
Thank you, Pablo. So, welcome to our webinar, Innovating Agile Way in this Insurtech, organized by Latam Insurtech and sponsored by his partner Exis. Today is clear that with the COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war, the world economic situation and consumers change their behaviors. In this opportunity, we will talk about how agility can help the Insurtech industry in the changing world. So, for that reason, it's for me a pleasure to introduce Yannick Legulegelu.
Thank you very much, Juan David. Thank you very much, Pablo. It's really a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Yannick. Some of you already know me. I've been working in Deloitte for the last 3 years, and recently I opened my own company, a very small company based on agility, strategic agility, structural agility, and process agility. So right now, yes, we are going to talk about a changing world. Santi, are you sharing the presentation? Juan, I'm not sure we have the presentation on the screen. Can you confirm?
Yeah.
Yes, we have it right now. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so the aim of this webinar is to be able to unlock the potential of agility in the insurance industry. We're going to see that obviously there are quite a lot of trends that will help us in order to innovate and in order to find very agile solutions for our customers. Let's go on, please, Santi. Great. So we're going to talk about the first trends we have in the world, obviously. And as you know, I've been working in Deloitte, so I'm very aware and very conscious about the mega trends. The mega trends are the trends that will really change the world, and not only the insurance world, insurance industry, but the world in general. Okay, so Heraclitus said to us 500 years before Jesus that the only constant in life is change. And this is so true. We could see that really in a lot of different ways. Now, what do we have as a big change in the global world? We have first the climate change. Humanity is trying right now to figure out ways to reduce carbon emissions. Obviously, greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere are worsening. If you just saw the news 2 days ago, they are accusing Elon Musk, for example, to make some holes into the ozone stratosphere. So we have quite a lot of issues about that, and we know there will be a lot of consequences. Second point, we have a lot of technological disruption. Okay, so we thought 20 years ago that all the movies we had seen, like, for example, Minority Report, like, for example, I, Robot, all these movies were like science fictions, right? Right now, we know this is not the case. The reality has gained a lot of power and is really faster than the science fiction. We know with the artificial intelligence and a lot of things about that. And there will be quite a lot of things to see about that. We will see what are the implications and consequences about that. We also have a very strong demographic shifts right now. For example, in the world, it's very well known that the median age in all the countries is increasing. This change is causing some countries' social systems to break down. And with the appearance of the artificial intelligence, for example, we know that we will have more unemployment, for example. So from one side, we lack a lot of workers in some very critical areas. And on the other side, we have underemployment, weakening economies from immigrating citizens. Just in Latin America, we all know the case, for example, of Venezuelan migration, okay? Because the economic situation is so loud, so critical, that they have to immigrate in Chile, they have to immigrate in Mexico, they have to immigrate also in Colombia. Fourth trend, very, very important, we have a fracturing world, obviously. The world is becoming multinodal. What do we mean? We have some examples. For example, the new blocks from Russia Russia is going to consolidate. We know that China is has been waiting for the last 30 years, this kind of events. And now we have some very, very big players like China, India also, that will definitely fracture the world as we used to know it before. We are talking about what? We are talking about this dollarization, for example, money for the emerging countries, and a lot of things are going to change about that. So the fifth trend about that is that we have a lot of social instability. Right now, I am in Colombia. 2 years ago, we had a lot of strikes from workers in Colombia. We have a lot of massive pressure resulting from social and economic polarization. We have some disruption, demographic change, and eroding trust in all governments also. So we'll have a very, very strong social unrest about our situations. Santi, please. That will be our keyword, Santi. Juan David.
Yeah, Yannick, thank you for that. So interesting. I want to know what has this changed and will continue to change in the industry, in the insurance industry.
Obviously, we're going to talk about that. First, when we talk about the change in general, as exactly to say, companies thought they were in a very been warning all the economy, editors, health also can interact and at the end destabilize one to each other. Okay, and ambiguity. We can have a lot of data, for example, but what does the data mean in our case? It's quite complicated, quite complex to understand always the data we have. So what will be the change in the industry? Santi, please. We're going to see that these mega trends I've been talking about will have some very big consequences and implications for individuals, okay? Also, we have some general consumers trends that are active for the entire world. Also, we have some specific trends for the insurance industry, very interesting. I will spend a bit of time on that. And we have also some specific technological trends for the insurance industry. Santi, so what are the consequences of these trends? For example, for the climate change, what concerns us about insurance, for example? Let's say you will have this presentation, so I'm not going to read everything on this presentation, but these are the trends, the mega trends you have to consider when you're going to segment your customers, when you're going to think about what kind of products, services, combined product you can offer to your customers, okay? Customers or policy holders. We will talk about that just a bit later. For example, in case of climate change, a lot of people is going to, with the Niño phenomenon, we'll see a lot of things happening in the next years, okay? Also, we have an increase in cost of living. The food is more expensive. The water will be more expensive. The energy is also very more expensive because of the war between Russia and Ukraine, for example. You may know that in Europe, there is quite a big crisis about the price of energy, just for that. Also, when we have these kind of things, what's happening in our society? Well, violence is appearing quite clearly because there is a resource scarcity. Okay, and obviously from new disease like COVID and new things that, for example, um, a lot of people like Elon Musk, like Bill Gates are warning about, new diseases are going to happen also. So we have to take care about health. Okay. Um, in terms of technology, what do we have? We have significant capacity enhancements, allowing people to achieve more with less effort. Okay. Also, people are going to lose their job, so we should maybe provide something on insurance about that. We have a loss of privacy on the data we provide on the internet. We have a lot of increasing disinformation and misinformation, and also, although we don't talk a lot about it, growing mental health issues. Okay. In terms of, so I'm not going to read everything, but you can see here quite a lot of things. We have, for example, in our fracturing world, declining personal safety due to conflicts. So, for example, I will take my personal example. I think it's better. I've been living in Bogota, in Colombia, for the last 5 years. I don't know if Juan, you will agree with me about that, but I think, and I feel, and I see that violence and delinquence is really growing very, very fast in our fracturing world. So we need some insurance about everything right now. It's impossible to run a car without insurance. You will have the mega trends, but also we have some trends specific to the insurance. Santi, please. For the consumers, first, what do our consumers want today? There are a lot of studies about that. One of Price Waterhouse, for example, that tells us that people in general right now want to have a purpose in life. They have more and more responsible behaviors, friendly with the environment, socially inclusive, for example, and more ethical when they are consuming. This is an example. They want to be part of collaborative networks. They want to connect, collaborate, for example, in networks of care for all people, for example, and share, for example, assets. They want to be empowered. They can be activists, they can be entrepreneurs, or only willing to improve their self person. So they are looking for information and interactions in social networks, which makes them autonomous and able to influence other people. They want to feel safe, obviously, and this has a lot to see with insurance. Instead of fearing and feeling vulnerable about data tracking in the virtual world, for example, they would like to stay anonymous. They want to feel safe, so they demand respect for their personal life and individuality based on transparency and security. We have a new generation. That was the case of millennial, but more and more people are like that today. They want to enjoy more than own things. Okay, they like to buy experiences and trade absolutely everything. So in Latin America, we have, for example, OLX that is working quite a lot. So they privilege the use and enjoyment instead of possession. They also want a balanced life, obviously. They want to have a prolonged, healthy life with full mind and quality of life more than everything. So they need to care themselves and ensure their well-being. So this is a great opportunity here for the insurance industry to orient itself to the well-being products and services, developing everything around the policyholder. They want a life without prejudice. This is quite new, but they want to be free from all kind of prejudice. They don't like labels, stereotypes. They want to be able to fusion personal life and work life also. So if in my team, for example, I have a very nice guy coming to work with blue hair, for example, he doesn't want to be judged. So we know that we have to work on inclusion, diversity, and equity. They want an easier life also, but thanks to technology. Maybe you saw this movie, and I like the title, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. They want to be connected, everywhere to everything all at once, and they enjoy augmented environment, robot human links, and everything that is technology easing their life, basically. Santi. Now, this is quite true for all kind of industry, inclusive if you already see that we have some consequences and some opportunities very clearly for the insurance market. Okay. But now we have also some very, very specific trends for the insurance industry. For example, insurers are leveraging AI-based solutions to improve claims processing. For example, um, intelligent processes are the need of the moment, and insurers are taking important steps to harness artificial intelligence for claims processing, but also for fraud prevention. Okay, the past pandemic that we saw has catapulted health and wellness into the global spotlight. So insurers also have the opportunity to come to this market. The ability to leverage the expertise of ecosystem, which is very important. Some people knows how to do that very well, like Elon Musk, for example. This ability to leverage this expertise in the ecosystem is essential to bolsters capabilities and achieve synergies and cost efficiencies also. We will see exactly what are doing some big techs right now. They want a more sustained attention. For example, we are talking about telemedicine right now. But what is driving the adoption of telemedicine, if you think about it? Well, first, we had a lack of medical resources due to COVID-19, obviously. Also, we had the social distancing rules. For example, 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine was sick. She wanted to go to her doctor. The doctor already said, no, wait just 2 minutes. I'd rather have an interview with you, virtual interview, because in case you have COVID, we don't want to spread it again, okay? Also, we had some relaxed regulations about COVID and a convenient care delivery. What are the benefits of digital care services, for example? This is a great question. At first, it reduces strain on the healthcare system. It can give personalized health guidance with better accessibility and privacy, which is not the case when you go in an hospital, for example, in Bogota. You don't have this privacy. There is a cost control with fewer emergency room visits. We can reduce costs associated with in-person visits for the entire ecosystem, for the patients, obviously, for the insurers, for the providers in medicine. We can also set up preventive health services. And right now, when we talk about technology, we will talk a bit more about that, but obviously we can also enjoy the social determinants. All the pioneers we have right now in the ecosystem are beginning to tap into alternative data sources, such as connected devices, social determinants of health, for example, education level, income, employment, housing, transportation, and access to healthy food, air, clean water, and healthcare services. This will have really an impact about the outcomes of insurance. So this can be an outcome, but also this can be an income just in order to improve health outcomes for your policyholders. Also, in the customer journey transformation, health insurers can use, for example, wellness programs to build policyholder confidence. Insurers can use the vast amounts of data collected in the last years through wellness programs via fitness tracking devices to better understand their customers and offer more personalized services. We have the Internet of Things, for example, helping us a lot to understand the well-being of the customer, their health, etc., etc. When the insurers want to act also as a partner in the customer's health and wellness journey, they can significantly reduce health and ultimately increase profits. Okay, so it's quite sure that insurers, with the new technology, with the new trends that we can foresee right now, have a lot of opportunities. But we will see that, for example, in Latin America, they are not really taking this opportunity like they should. This is precisely why we are going to use agility in order to innovate and to change really things. Okay. Um, okay, Santi, please. I have quite a lot of other sample about that, but we will see with more precision if you need it later. Okay. We have six trends, very important in technology that the insurers can benefit. The first one is this one comes from a report that you can find in internet from PricewaterhouseCoopers, okay, from October 22. Okay, so what do they say? They say basically we have the immersive internet for the enterprise. Right now, what is augmented reality, virtual reality headsets is becoming affordable, for example. Okay, so the insurance industry can leverage this to drive, for example, personal accident insurance, servicing of virtual anonymizer bot, which will generate all the cotization and everything. Okay, this is kind of thing that we can do because AI can be absolutely everywhere. If you collect data from, for example, the navigation of your customers on internet, you will know what they like, what they expect, everything. And this is absolutely true for all kind of industry. Okay. Years ago, I've been working on the connected vehicle, for example. Just imagine you want to insure the vehicle of a policy holder, okay? And you have all the Internet of Things connected to the car. You know when is exceeding velocity, you know when is doing quite a lot of stupid things, or at the contrary, is a very, very cautious driver, for example, and you could use that to condition the price, for example, of the policy. There is quite a lot of things about that. Okay. Third one, above the clouds, taming multi-cloud chaos. Okay, because there is quite a lot of cloud. The cloud has been developing quite a lot, and now we are still in the same situation that 20 years ago, where we need interactivity, interconnectability between the different clouds. Okay, so this is quite a strong part also to be able to interconnect all the different clouds available in the industries. Okay. Fourth one, the flexibility, and this is a very strong one. As you will see in this slide, we have two parameters: readiness. Readiness for the flexibility is 3/5. Okay, so it's quite ready. The industry is quite ready to access to this flexibility for the best ability, reimagining the tech workforce, for example. And the relevance because we know it will have quite a lot of impact on the outcomes in insurance industry. Flexibility, basically you need to prepare the insurance technology workforce for outcomes-oriented work requires a multifaceted approach to transformation. You need three things. First one, you need to have a level of partnership between the business and the CIO. Okay, this is the first one, and in agility is absolutely necessary. Okay, so you need a talent, a tech talent, very important also. As a second one, sorry. As a second one, also, you need an integrated approach to address talent attraction. Right now, we know that obviously there will be a lot of unemployment for the megatrends I mentioned previously, but also we know that for some critical jobs, we need very qualified people. And this is the case when we talk about data analytics, when we talk about artificial intelligence, when we need people that think quite a lot in order to provide and to get outcomes. We need to attract this talent. This is the second one. And at last, the third one is you need also to retain this tech workforce, okay? Not only you need to attract it, but you need to retain it. And this is quite complicated. So you can provide, for example, creative recognition models, modern workplace technology, a clear mission, vision, purpose also, in order to help to create the conditions for the retention of your employees. And this is very important because when we talk about insurance, we don't see an insurance company, an insurance industry working like, for example, Amazon or Google. But why not at the end? If you think about it, why not? What makes it impossible? Absolutely nothing. So it's time for the insurance industry to become agile at the human resources level, at the talent level also, in order to attract this talent and to retain it, okay? We need also, as a fifth trend, tech trend, to have decentralized architecture and ecosystem. This is not new, obviously. And the last one, we need to connect and extend. Mainframe modernization hits its stride. The main issue in Insurtech, in insurance, and in bank is in this panorama, Juan, we have six tech trends, very important tech trends, and we have a readiness for each one of them and a relevance. And what would be a good advice from my point of view would be first the flexibility. The best ability is to reimagining the tech workforce in the insurance industry. If I have a very good tech talent, to say it this way, in data analytics, in artificial intelligence, his first perception will not be to go and work for an insurance company. He will prefer to go working for Amazon, for Google, like I cited, for Netflix, for everything more sexy, to say it this way, okay? So basically here we need to reimagining, okay, the way to attract this talent. And we need to be very creative on this one. The second one is about the clouds. We cannot be conditioned to only one cloud. We must be able to be multi-cloud and to collaborate between companies, between within the insurance industry, to share data, to share idea, to make open innovation, for example. I don't know if you know that, but for example, in Europe, we have the open banking. A lot of banks made their source code open to everybody in order to develop the fintechs, okay? So in Insurtech, probably this is the way also to have open innovation and to collaborate in a full ecosystem, okay? This is one for the moment, okay?
Really interesting, Yannick. I want to know, with these kind of problems, how should we navigate in the middle of this change?
Okay, yes, this is a big question because I have a lot of more examples. We have only 1 hour, so I just give some example that comes to my mind right now. But this is a very, very huge question. Everyone knows what is possible, but the big question is, how can I do it? Santi, please. First, as an agilist, obviously, I recommend very clearly to become agile. But first, what is business agility? Okay, we need to have a business agility, but we need to understand what are we talking about. Okay, Santi, please. We're going directly at the point. Business agility, quite clear. At its simplest, business agility is the capacity and willingness of an organization to respond, recover, and thrive in change for their customers' benefit. Okay? Basically, to be agile at business level is to be able to respond, recover, and thrive in change. Okay? So we are going to see that business agility world is very huge world. It's not something very simple. Otherwise, everyone would be running it very quickly. But at the end, it's a bit more complicated. Santi. Okay, but why would we like to become agile at business level, first of all? Look, one thing that I remember from Deloitte, and I readapted for myself, we are in the industry 4.0 age, where we want to have, as customers, as consumers, real-time and faithful interactions, many options for customization, fast on-demand deliveries, all enabled by technology in middle of constant changes. Okay, so what do business agility can provide to us if we adopt it? Basically, first, we can diversify our sources of income. Okay, obviously, if we have all the eggs in one basket, when something is happening, for example, if you see Airbnb, if you see the flights company, planes company, when the COVID came, a lot of them broke down for completely. Okay, so we should diversify our sources of income, our business models, for example. Second one, we should be more able to focus on delighting our customers. Okay, if we have some neutral or unsatisfied customers, basically the reputation is not going to grow, and a lot of things nowadays is based on reputation or on NPS, Net Promoter Score, for example. So we need to focus on delighting the customers. It's not a question not to have criticals. No, we need to have the wow effects. Yes, this one is really, really very convenient, very fast, answers absolutely at the point, and we like it. Okay, we with business agility, we will be ready to respond to any change, obviously, and also we'll be able to operate more efficiently. Obviously, what are we talking about when we're talking about business agility? We're not only talking about agile. We are talking about a wide world where agile is present, obviously, but also lean, for example. When we are talking about having less waste in the operation or zero waste in the operation, we are talking about lean. Okay, so these are the kind of things. For example, we have some challenges about that. It's not that easy. The challenges when we're talking about the strategy, we need to know what kind of tool, what kind of methodology I'm going to use in order to be able to diversify my source of income, in order to be able to have a very good plan, to adapt it continuously, etc., etc. But we're going to see right now. Okay, Santi. Thanks. Okay, so if I want to become agile at a business level, I have to understand what are the levers I have to look for. Okay, we are in VUCA environment. I just repeat volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. So how can we say we are agile at business level? Well, just take the velocity of adaptation multiplied by the efficacy of adaptation, and you multiply it by 1 mass your disruption factor. If you have a very good company with a very trained talent, able to adapt very quickly and efficiently, that doesn't mean you will be leading your market. This is a difference. The 1 mass disruption factor is the difference between leading the market and following the market. Okay, if you have a 0 factor disruption, okay, you will follow your market. You will have quite a good velocity of adaptation and a good efficacy of adaptation. Factor of disruption. If you have, for example, a factor of disruption of 1, you're the most disruptor in your market. So obviously, you won't have to follow the market. You will lead the market. You will propose new solutions, new innovative solutions to your market. And this is what we want to look for. Okay, so right now, how, Santi, please, how do I enable and activate these 3 levers: the velocity of adaptation, the efficacy of adaptation, and the disruption? Well, we need 3 catalysts. Okay, I'm not going to give you all the theory about business agility, the 4 dimensions, the 12 domains. This is not so useful at this point. We just need to understand what we need to set up in order to become agile at business level. And at first, what you need, they are used to quickly respond and thrive on change, have more collaborative ways of working, focus on delighting our customers, delivering more relevant experience. But you don't need only that. You also need a strong innovation system. And if I am very frank about this point, in a lot of in the insurance industry, for example, in Latin America, I don't know a very good innovation system set up in place with the capacity, with the capability to really create innovation. So you need to create new and viable commercial offers. You don't want to follow your market. You have an opportunity with all these trends to lead your market. So you need to create this offer in a structured and sustainable way to create value for your customers and for your company. And also, you need, because we are talking about what? We are talking about specific tech trends in insurance also. So you need 6 digital enablers, okay, which are an effective ecosystem. Do you think on health, for example, an insurer can work without the patient, without the doctors, without the hospital, without anyone? No, the ecosystem in the insurance company is very, very important. And this is why you might think about open innovation in order to find solutions with all your ecosystem, sharing the capacity and sharing the cost, for example. You need to be omni-channel. The customer wants the same experience, whatever is the channel. You need the cloud capabilities. We talked about that. We need to be multi-cloud, above the clouds right now. We need data analytics, obviously. This is a very important point on which I'm going to come back. You need an agile culture in order to respond, recover, and thrive in change. And you need processes, lean processes, in order to have zero waste in your operation. Okay, so this is what you're going to try to reach when you want to be agile at business level. Okay, Santi, thanks. So now I said what we are looking for. What are the levers we are looking for? The catalyst to provoke that. Okay, but now how do we do it? This is a very important point. Okay, Santi, we're going to see, because time is passing really fast. We have, for example, from Exsis, a framework, very convenient, proved framework around the transformation to business agility. We are talking about transformation toward business agility. So we defined 3 principles in order to understand what we are looking for. First principle, we need to agilize sales traits of an organization, of a business, to be precise, okay? We need a business focused more on purpose rather than focused on profits, for example. I know this looks quite strange, but behaviors make more difference on the outcomes than to focus on outcomes itself, okay? We need a customer-focused ecosystem rather than internal focus. We don't need to think internally, but we need to be focused all the time to the customer. We need adaptive team network rather than hierarchical structure. We need collaborative agile governance rather than silos and bureaucratic interactions. We need individually engaged talent rather than talent managed one fits all. One fits all doesn't work in agility, and it's absolutely forbidden. We need continuous change and learning rather than resistance to change. And this is what is bringing based on only 3 layers like strategical, tactical, and operative layers. We have in reality 5 layers in a business, not in an organization. When we're talking about business agility, we're not talking about enterprise agility. The business agility is the agility of the complete business. And the complete business has 5 layers. First one, the individual, the members of the team. So they need to contribute and generate value in the team, for example. How can they do that? They can do that improving their 4C skills. 4C skills is assertive communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creative thinking, for example. Second layer, the leader, obviously. The leader must be an inclusive orchestrator, okay? Its mission is to unlock the full potential of the team and its members also, obviously, so they can adopt connected ways of working improving at the same time their 4C skills again. Third layer, the team must build trust and support among its members. So third layer is a team where we need trust, confidence. Fourth layer, the organization itself. The organization must move away from silos, traditional silos. Okay, the hard lines of hierarchy we all know, and must go toward a network of self-organization with very small teams working in networks. Okay, and fifth layer, very important, the ecosystem, which is above everything. The ecosystem must constantly detect customer needs and innovate across semi-permeable boundaries. This is what I was talking about banking, for example. You need to share in the insurance industry, absolutely. And the third principle, you cannot change everything everywhere all at once. You need to make some small changes over the long term. An agile organization can only emerge through a series of small changes over the long term to change even the DNA of the organization. We don't want to do some one shots. I build a team. I said, okay, my team is agile, but 2 months later, finally, the team comes back to the old traditional way of working. Uh, we need to have various multidisciplinary teams focused on one customer segment, and this is very important. So for this one, I will leave it here. We are going to talk about customers segment, which is a very, very important key of the transformation design in the insurance industry. Okay, Santi? How we do it? Uh, from our side, we have 4 phases in order to transform to business agility an insurance company. First, evaluate your transformation readiness. We need to know uh, how ready you are to transform toward business agility. We need to make a design to design the blocks of the transformation, okay, around 8 dimensions. We need to structure the teams for the transformation, and we need to develop MVPs from squads, very small teams oriented to value to value and outcomes for the customer. Santi? Okay, transformation readiness. Let's pass it later. You will have the presentation. In case you're interested in that, you can contact us directly. Santi, let's go on because time is passing really fast. Okay. Okay, so the 3 principles at the moment in which you're going to design the transformation. Remember, you need to permeate 5 layers of the organization: individual, leader, team, organization, and ecosystem. And you need to read from 3 fronts. A front which will be basically managing the transformation, a front that will be framing the transformation, I mean building, doing the blueprints and everything, and the third front that will be operating the transformation, that will be experimenting, giving results, outcomes, and showing to the company it's possible or not. Okay. So as a second one, you need to set up a transformation office. If you need to manage from the 5 layers from 3 front, you need 1 front, which is the transformation office. The transformation office basically will have an integrated approach. Okay. Not separated ways of working that will not combine at the end, but an integrated approach for a complex transformation. And third point, you need to involve specialists. Beware of fake agile, cosmetic agile. My big question about agility is always very simple. Would you entrust your health, your car, or your plumbery to a fake specialist who's certified, just paying a 2 days training, for example? If you go to a doctor, if the doctor said, yeah, I certified last week, yes, I can treat you. Would you trust him? No. So why many companies are trusting people just because they have a piece of paper saying, I am certified? Certification lost its meaning nowadays. This is not a certification. This means I paid for a piece of paper. I have a bit of knowledge about that. Knowledge, but not necessarily a lot of knowledge. And for sure, very few experience most of the time. Okay, so take care about that. Santi. When we go to the transformation design playbook, Santiago, thanks. Uh, we need to prioritize the insights of the readiness assessment. We're not going to transform everything everywhere all at once. Small changes. So we need to check what are the most impacting priority. And the cheapest also sometimes. This is what we call a quick win. If we don't have to pay a lot or to invest a lot to have a great result, we will start here, just in order to show to the company it's possible. We need to define a strategy and the different components we want to transform in the time, okay? And we need also to design the components and the roadmap. What is our roadmap? A roadmap is not a plan, okay? It's not a Gantt diagram. A roadmap is the path I'm thinking to take at the beginning of my transformation. But this is like a road. A roadmap is a road. So what's going on if, for example, there is an accident on the road? If the police blocked the road and I cannot go through this way. So I need to adapt. And this is what is doing business agility. We need to have continuous adaptation of the plan. And this means also an emerging strategy. What's going on tomorrow? For example, if there is a new COVID, I will need to adapt my strategy. And all the methodologies we can provide around that are just in order to be able to be agile at business level, at strategic level, at tactical level, and at operative level also. Okay? Santiago, thank you. One very important point. This is why I was a bit in a hurry to reach this point. The customer's segmentation is something very, very important in the insurance industry. Insurance industry has been collecting data for the last 20, 30 years. Okay, but when we check a bit, I have had experiences with insurance companies that were not using its data properly. Okay, we have a lot of data, and too many data sometimes is the enemy of the analysis because we don't know where to look. We have this is too many, really. So we need to cluster the data. Transforming the business, we need to transform the business by implementing a new customer-centric organizational model. What does that mean? That means basically that we need to reorganize the company around customers segment. Okay, and what is a customer segment? Well, basically, we have a lot of benefits to segment our customers. And how do we segment the customer? Well, there's a lot of variable, okay? But as a benefit, you can expect segmenting the customers properly from data analytics, defining the customer person with the business people in designing solutions for a specific customer segment. Obviously, you will have a more relevant customer experience for each one of your segment. You will have a better knowledge of customers because when interviewing your segment, you will interview people that correspond to a specific segment, and you will have some better strategic decisions for each segment of customers, obviously. Transforming successfully is the difference between failing and prospering. When we talk about thrive in a VUCA environment, we are talking about transforming successfully the organization and we need to reorganize. So instead of having, for example, a TI, an IT department, to have, for example, a product department, to have, for example, a finance department, we need to have some teams oriented to segment. What does that mean? I have, for example, a team oriented to senior people in insurance, more than 60 years old, for example. I have a team, a multidisciplinary team. So in this team, I will have IT people, I will have product people, I will have juridical people, I will have finance people, I will have all the kind of competencies I need in this team, but oriented not to one customer or to what they will be oriented to one segment of customers specifically. So they will have to learn to know their customer segment. They will have to have a perfect knowledge of this segment. They will have to provide some more relevant customer experience for this segment in particular. Okay, Santiago. One example here is, for example, our policyholder. How should we know it? Okay, so we can make some interviews, having their biography, knowing their needs and wants in life, what are their motivations, what are their frustrations. Okay, in the frustrations here, you can see, for example, in insurance that we mostly have the same all the time. I don't really know what my coverage is and if I have the right policy, for example. Okay, the insurance process is difficult. Forms, medical exams, time, etc., and the contract difficult to understand. And this is quite true in many experiences. I've seen that. So, becoming agile at business level is to be able to fulfill the needs and wants of your customer segment, but also to remove all these frustrations and to find the motivations of the customers that will make the difference. So you need to find a differentiator between your competitors or something more. So, for example, what are the motivations of Jamie? She wants health and life coverage at a good price. She wants benefits for her and her family. She wants benefits for her professional development. She wants easy resolution of any issue without waste of time. And this is real case. Let me tell you, when you do this kind of exercise, what's going on? You will see clustering the data, analyzing the data, contrasting the data with business owners, with business people, that at the end, you will have quite clear what are your segments of customers. And sometimes the segments of customers are not the one you had imagined at the beginning. Okay, so for example, we discovered in one country of Latin America a segment of senior customers more than 60 years. This segment in this country represented more than 20% of the population. Okay, it's a large segment responsible for the inversion of the population pyramid. They usually own a house, a vehicle. It's a profile quite vital. 76% of them feel young. It's the segment that answers the most satisfaction surveys, for example. So it's a very easy segment to work if you think about it. Okay, they prefer first face-to-face contact, but quickly use non-face-to-face channel to contact their insurance, mainly by telephone. They have a high digitalization level, more than 90% use a PC or smartphone and have an average of 50 apps, for example. Okay, so looking for their concerns, for what they value, uh, we I was wondering what are insurers doing for this senior segment? Well, basically, they are doing three things in product. Offer leverage on a product such as funerals, healthcare, home that includes small adaptations to existing coverage. So they are not innovating in product. In services, they emergency directly from your insurer. Could be something very good also to provide well-being and emergency solutions. In price, they are very homogeneous price scheme also. And basically, what the insurers are doing right now is to try to add products to an existing offer for a policyholder. Okay, but there is not a new business model really about price. So, in conclusion, if we talk about Latin America, insurers didn't really identify innovative strategies to position themselves in this segment in particular. And the practices are more directed to marketing actions that enhance existing coverage. But there is a lot to do about innovation about this segment, for example. And if you go and work in detail in all the data you have working on the customer segmentation, you will have quite a lot of good surprise and you will be able to innovate, obviously, simply because you will have an advantage on your competitors if you analyze it correctly. Okay, Santiago. Well, when we run this kind of projects, basically we have a plan from 20 to 40 weeks where we evaluate the readiness for the transformation of the company. We design the blocks of the transformation. We structure the team in agile sales, multidisciplinary, multifunctional. I'll let you the last words.
It's so interesting to you tell us in your presentation. It's really amazing to the power of the innovation to the agile. So I just want to know if anyone have any question of at this point we open the microphones to for questions. Okay, I see the first question is, what are the change when following and implementing the steps of your playbook?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
For sure. What are the challenges when following and implementing the steps of your playbook?
Very good questions. Well, actually, there are quite a lot of studies, and all concludes to the same. The first step is the cultural challenge, obviously, because if we are talking about insurance industry, we are talking about an industry that has been working the same and in a very traditional way during the last 20, 30 years. Okay, so the first step is when you see the catalyst I've been mentioning before, is to adopt, for example, Agile. But to adopt Agile is not only to adopt Agile methodologies, if you think about it, it's to adopt an Agile mindset, an Agile culture. And it's quite complicated to change the culture of an organization. This is the first one. The second one is that we need to invest. Unfortunately, this is a very strong challenge because we're talking about two more catalysts. The second one, if you remember, is a strong model for innovation. Putting a strong model for innovation means investment, and quite a lot of investment. So take care, because I can say it this way because I've been warning the bank industry for decades, basically. I said, take care, because if you don't innovate, some new players will come in the game and will take your place. Okay, so you need to invest in order not to follow the market. But if you are an insurance company, you need to lead the insurance industry. You don't have to wait, for example, for Rappi in Latin America to create a banking system, because Rappi is going to do it. It's very clear. So you need to invest. And these companies, these new players coming, are going to do it. So this is a challenge to make sure you have the capability, the ability to invest and to produce. So you need this innovation system. And also you need talent in technology. And this is very strong because we need to enable the six enables for the digital transformation. And this is quite a big challenge. So just to resume, first you have a cultural challenge, very strong cultural challenge. You have to invest in innovation right now, right away. And I know a lot of industries, very traditional, that are doing it right now. For example, right now I'm working for mining industry in Latin America. They were not so used to invest a lot of money in innovation, but they understood the mega trends. They understood the consumer trends. The consumers, okay, they want gold, they want silver, they want heavy metal. Okay, but they don't want the environment to be damaged for their exploitation. Okay, so we need to take that in concern. Cultural innovation system and talent, digital talent, very important as a challenge. But the first one, absolutely, is the culture.
Really good. Excellent, Yannick. So for the time, I need to say thank you for all people to connect with us. And obviously, please make the close, Pablo. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Juan. Muchas gracias, Yannick, por la gran presentación y el tiempo. Realmente de mi parte aprendí muchísimo y muchísimas cosas que no las tenía muy claras, así que te agradezco eso. Agradecerles a todos los participantes, a todos los que estuvieron en la charla, a todos los que nos están siguiendo también por YouTube, en el link de YouTube, y agradecer a Exsis por un webinar más junto con Insurtech. Así que nada, agradecerles a los dos y seguimos creciendo y en camino como siempre. Muchas gracias, soy un agradecido de la vida y de todo por estar escuchándolos y trabajando con ustedes. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Pablo.